Hi, I'm Casey Ferris. I make videos on DaVinci Resolve here on YouTube. Today we're talking about removing a color cast inside of the color page in Resolve 17. That's a mouthful, but I think we did it. Let's go! Here we are in Resolve 17 in the color page, and we have our clip of our dude walking around the college, and it just looks kind of greenish, bluish. Not quite what we want. First thing I'm going to do is make a little bit of room for us since we're only working on one shot. I'm going to close our timeline and our clips and our gallery so we can just see what the heck is going on. So this is something that kind of happens every once in a while. Maybe you'll be in a hurry to shoot something, you'll go outside and you'll be on the wrong white balance, and it's easier to do than you think. So this is shot at like a 4,000 Kelvin white balance, and out in the sunlight, it should be something more like 5,600 Kelvin, something like that. Basically, it's too cool. And this guy's cool, but I'm not talking about cool like awesome. I'm talking about cool like color temperature. So we gotta decoolize it. This has gotta be less popular. So first thing let's do is open up our scopes. The lower right-hand corner, click on this little thingy here. And if you don't know how to read scopes, please check out this video right here. Teaches you all about how to do that. Oh, baby. But taking a look at this, we can definitely see, hey, everything's a little bit cool. The blue and the green channels are a lot higher than our red channel. And when you're outside and there isn't anything that's like terribly blue, other than maybe the sky, everything should look maybe just tinted warm, definitely not tinted cool. So how do we fix this? Removing a color cast is a lot like just color correcting anything. You want to make sure that the darkest parts of the image are balanced, which means that things that should look neutral, like maybe this black strap, anything that should be black or really dark gray is neutral. And then also anything that should be white or really light gray is also neutral. There's no color cast to it. And so whether it's a big problem like this or a little problem, it kind of starts the same way. We want the black things in the image to look black. So we're going to focus on this black bag, and right here in the color scopes, that is this little part right here. So what we're aiming for is this to be sort of towards the bottom and to be level on all three channels. So we can adjust that with the lift wheel, which adjusts the hue and saturation of the darkest parts of the image. And when I move this around, we can see it tints the shadows and it moves our scope around. So not even looking at our image, just looking at our scope, we can move this around until these three things are pretty well balanced, something like that. And then I'm going to take this master wheel, which is the brightness, and take it and drag it to the left. And looking at our scopes, we want that kind of at least down below 128, probably somewhere in there. And now looking back at our image, here's where we were before, and here's where we are now. It's already looking a lot better, and all we've done is just made sure that the black things are black. Next is to make sure that white things are white. Now, this would be really helpful if we had anything that we knew was white. Maybe this building is sort of white or gray, or it might be beige. I don't know. I've never been here. But one thing that you can generally kind of assume is that pavement is sort of neutral. And I find it tends to actually look better if it's just a little bit warm. So there's a lot of pavement in our shot, and we can kind of balance to that pavement. The pavement on our scopes is going to be right here, this little kind of line here. The reason I know that is because something that should be neutral in real life is going to have a similar shape on each one of these channels on the parade. It's going to be pretty similar. So we can take our gain and try to balance this part of our image and see how it looks. So I'll take the gain, and when I move this around, again, we see it changes the parade. And I'm looking at this little line and moving the gain around until the red part is just a little bit higher than the green, and the green's just a touch higher than the blue, which is going to make the shot look just a touch warm, which out in the sun looks pretty nice. There we go. That's looking a lot better. Here's before and here's after. Might have gone just a little bit too harsh on that gain, so I might push that back just a touch somewhere in there. So now we're still balancing this, and red is just a touch higher than the blue and green. And we got a pretty good looking shot, I'd say. This is how it came in, and this is where we are now, getting rid of that color cast. And now we can boost the saturation a little bit because we're out in a sunny day, and color correct it from here. But I'd say that looks pretty nice. Now, one thing that'll happen sometimes is if your white balance is way off, and let's say you have a blown out sky, like it's nice because we have this blue sky that isn't so bright, but sometimes you'll have something that's clipped, something that is too bright for the camera to record. And when you make your adjustment in the gain, it will actually push this kind of clipped part to yellow. So sometimes you'll have a shot where the sky is clipped like this, and it was shot like this, but it was shot at the wrong white balance. And so what happens is when you try to balance it and kind of make everything nice again, you can kind of go through balancing the blacks and kind of balancing, like, I know this house is gray, kind of trying to balance that. But now you have this bright yellow sky, right? This happens a lot if you have to adjust your white balance. So a way to fix that is to make another serial node. I'll just hit Alt-S, and we can basically just desaturate the sky to kind of get rid of that bright yellow tint. There's a few different ways to do that. In Resolve 17, it's pretty easy. If we go to the HDR Color Wheels down here, these are just color wheels that are split up into more parts of the image. And if you click on this little sun and hold it down, you can kind of preview what part of this it's going to adjust. So the highlight generally will adjust the bright sky and everything, right? So we can take this and just desaturate the highlights because a lot of our detail is lost anyway. And we can really kind of highlight threshold down a little bit. That's just how much of the image is selected by highlights. So something like that. And when we desaturate it, it kind of gets rid of that big yellow tint. So that's something you might run into if you shot with the wrong white balance, you're trying to remove a color cast. But desaturating either the highlights or the really dark shadows will definitely save you sometimes if you have some clipped information. But yeah, if things aren't clipped, you can do a really nice job just fixing that white balance just by balancing the blacks and the whites and boosting your saturation a touch. So there you go. Now your colors look all so beautiful. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And also, we have a whole playlist of Resolve 17 things, and it appears somewhere in this area. Sometimes it's, it's just over in that corner. Digitally, later, like many days later, this is going to be added, but you're going to be like right now, I haven't even shot the video yet. That's how my workflow goes, but it's still here in real time for you. Blessings.